Um, yes, I am co-founder of Chaos Organization. I will want to break that acronym out. Chaos stands for Children Having Alternative Options for Success. Started out as a team, and then we've rebranded that in the past 3 years as a foundation. I am also the girls basketball director for Team Thrill, and Team Thrill is based out of Maryland. Thrill named after Will the Thrill Barton. So I wanted to throw that out there as well. I'm very honored to be here and have Jaden and Taiwan were very near and dear to me, a part of this panel, and have volunteered their time out of their busy schedules to talk about the intersection of sports, more than a game, the path to college and beyond. I feel that we're going to be able to provide some good insight into that. And personally, it's spending over 2 decades in that area. It's one of my passions. So, again, we are here today to discuss and talk about the journey to college scholarship being more than just a physical talent. It's also about a precision of your mindset, discipline of your unseen work, the strength of your network, what you build around you, and how those same principles are the foundation to college and beyond. So, to help me unpack this, we are going to step right into the panel and representing everything full life cycle. I do want to just toot the horns of these two phenomenal people. Taiwan is a Harlem, New York native, even though he's been in Maryland for quite some time. He's very proud Harlem, New York native that spent his high school career at Eleanor Roosevelt in Greenbelt, Maryland. He attended HBCU, Morgan State University, and was a standout immediately that landed an opportunity with a two-way contract with the NBA Wizards, Washington Wizards, and NBA G League DC Go-Go, amongst other teams. And he's also played professionally overseas and is still pursuing that. And that's all with the degree, too. So he got his degree and he played sports. Jaden Walker, she is one of 4 siblings raised by 2 Caribbean parents. And I'm going to shout this out that she's in the Caribbean now. Like, we're probably, most of us are cold. She is in the Caribbean right now. And her parents really shaped her foundation and drive. She spent 6 years competing as a Division I athlete, 4 years at St. Joseph University in Pennsylvania, earning her bachelor's degree in finance. And she has 2 years at UMBC, earning a master's of science in entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership. So she's well educated and also an athlete that's taken a journey into her professional realm. So, panelists, thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to connect your stories with our audience today. Let's start out with our first topic, which is going to be around balance. So, let's just dive in here. People often see the highlights, but they don't see the 6 a.m. practices followed by the 8 a.m. exams, followed by, they kind of make it so like athletes are just on this pedestal and you just have this easy life. But in fact, you are juggling a lot. And even in the discussions prior to it, talked about mental health and all these different things that impact that, right? So I'm going to start with you, Taiwan. What was your secret weapon for managing a full course load while staying competitive on the court?
Whoa. What helped me manage that was basically having a strong support system behind me. One of my strongest support systems is actually on the phone on this call right now. Just talking through her with everything, ups and downs, just her giving me feedback. Hey, nothing, I'm saying, do this, do that. Just kind of just like put me in the right direction to just stay focused. Because if you don't, I would say if you don't reach out, you don't use the help and the positive people around you, you will definitely crash. And that's not the right way to go, especially when you have helping hands. It definitely helps because they can guide you through, success, different doors that you won't even know you could do. You know what I'm saying? So that was one that definitely helped me for sure. But another thing is just finding a ground level with yourself. What you will want to get out of something, I would say, knowing you are that person, you know what I'm saying, you can do it. just having that mindset alone, I would say separates a lot. Just having that you can and just keep going for
Okay, thanks. And so, Jaden, what was your secret weapon for managing a full course load? And I mean, you have 2 degrees, so how did you do that and stay competitive on the court?
For me, I would say organization was the biggest thing. I'm a big advocate for lists. I will make a list of a list. So being able to stay organized and planning ahead, is something that really helped me. I'm sorry. And I would say making sure to plan ahead, but also take it day by day. I think when you take it day by day, it allows you to not get overwhelmed with everything that's going on. However, planning ahead helps you to, um, you know, not have any surprises, to stay structured also.
Yeah, that's good. And then, and speaking of organizing and staying, staying on top of things and kind of making it day by day, um, as those days stacked up, was there a moment where you struggled or just super challenged academically or physically, perhaps even with the injury or anything like that, that you can expand on, that and what your mindset was around that to overcome those setbacks? So it's a two-part, and I'll repeat it. But if there was there a moment where you may have struggled academically or physically, and then if so, in that moment, how did your basketball mindset help you overcome that? And I'll dovetail right off of what you just said, Jaden. We'll go with you, and then we'll go to Taiwan.
Yeah, so there was definitely a moment. I actually redshirted my junior year to a knee injury. And then my last year, the 6th year, I had 2 knee surgeries. So something that definitely helped me was, like Taiwan said, reaching out for help, using my resources, but also to control what I could, whether that was, staying focused on my rehab, being a good teammate, um, focusing on school, just controlling what I could control. Ultimately, that made me extremely resilient, and it helps me to prepare for setbacks even beyond the game. So it's something that helped me.
Thank you. And Taiwan, what were examples or could you provide for that?
it. Like Jaden said, just the support and the love. I definitely took a big hit with an injury, broke my fifth metatarsal. Like I say, beginning of my pro career, it was hard. But this is the support system that around me and the things that was said to me, the feedback that I got, and the courage that I got to even continue to play and to even, just keep my head straight. So, like I said, the support and the love is the biggest key. That was the biggest key for me.
Okay. And if you could go back and give yourself advice, or say like back in college, your freshman self, so you're out there. What one piece of advice would that be in terms of the whole balancing act?
Um, I would say just that's a good one. That's a good one. For my freshman year, for to me get my freshman year self, I would say, oh, that's a tough one for me. Ah,
Or we could even, I know it's been some time, so we could dial it back
yeah.
to your rookie year in the NBA. Rookie year
Okay,
in the
my
NBA. What's one piece of advice that you would give your rookie self in the NBA of
just
balancing?
to,
Because you've got so
yeah.
much going on in the NBA. I mean, that's the highest level. You've got potential distractions, things like that. What would be that one piece of advice that you would give your rookie?
To get my rookie
Uh,
self, in that case,
yes.
I would tell myself patience, patience. Because you, like you
Yeah.
said, it's so much going on. You want to play, you want to do this, you want to do that. Just relax, just be patient. Your time will come. Just believe,
And
have
take it.
faith, strong faith, day by day. Your time will be there.
Yeah. And there's a resonating theme with the day by day, like Jaden mentioned. So I think what a lot of athletes attempt to do, or even parents, if we have parents on this call, is that we're trying to plan like everything in, whether you're a firm believer spiritually,
Mhm.
whatever your religious background are, like we all know that we don't control the ultimate destiny, right? But
Mhm.
we do have things in front of us every day. We can put our 2 feet in front of us every day to make sure that we're working towards our goals, right? And we're just believing in that. So I think that that's really key, as you mentioned, to have the patience with yourself, and things like that. And that in itself could be an entirely different topic for
Right.
another day.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
Jay, how can you do you want to kind of give, what would your freshman advice be, uh, to like the one piece of information you would give your freshman self if you can go back, build time machine?
Yeah, I would say have an identity outside of basketball. My freshman year, if I had a bad practice, I felt like I had a bad day. So if that was something that I could control earlier on, I think that would have made the transition a lot smoother. So yeah, just have hobbies. Know that just because you have a bad practice doesn't mean you have a bad life.
Hmm.
To be able to move on.
Yeah, great. And that's a good segue into our next topic, which is pivoting, right? So pivot has become like the buzzword, but albeit we've been pivoting all our lives, right? And especially in our community, I feel that we've had to pivot just outside of sports, but just life, right? In today's landscape. So for you, Taiwan, you've spent many years from youth, grassroots, high level to college to pros, where basically provided your schedule. You just had to get up and go. Everything is outlined for you. How are you mentally preparing for a world where you have to be your own scheduler, um, or where basically, you're setting your own schedule, outside of sports? How are you preparing for that? I know you're still playing right now, but I know your mind is
Uh-huh.
going to, the next thing. So yeah, how are you mentally preparing for the world where you have to be your own coach?
Oh, it was kind of scary at first, but like you said, talks, love, support. It gives you the, I would say, the courage to go out and step out into a new world, to adapt to anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can put your mind to it. You know what I'm saying? Day by day, and just controlling what you can control. Um, Mentally, like you got to read, like just it's just help. Like I don't even know how to explain it for. It's just like it's just the amount of support that you have around you that can really push you, and you can see it. Like I don't know how to not say it, but my prime example is Miss Gina right here. We talk, and it's like go for it. And it's just like it gives you the push to just go. You know, to just go.
Yeah.
And like I had some other opportunities that popped up, that wasn't basketball, and which are like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. I don't think I could do this. No, and it's like go for it. Just see how you like it. And some of the opportunities that I did, I come to find out, I actually like it. So it's like it's controlling what you control, believing in yourself. Long as you believe in yourself mentally, physically, all the way around the board, I just say there's nobody that can stop you from doing whatever you want to do, all around the
Yeah.
board.
And so with that, it's like the wins aren't as public or immediate, right? And again, playing on a high level, game by game is win or loss, win or loss, win or loss. But in that long game, as you're making that pivot in terms of, how you're going to be representing yourself and what you want to get out of your professional career,
Hmm.
it's you just stack the days, stack the wins. They may not be as public or
And just
immediate,
give
but
yourself
it's
a
going
pat
to
on the shoulder. Pat on the
pat
shoulder,
on the
because
shoulder. I like
it's
that.
what
Yes.
it's what you completed and what you done in your lifetime. If it's, you know what I'm saying, that's your good. Nobody can tell you what you accomplished and how you accomplished it. As long as you do it, as long as you did it, as long as you put the steps in, as long as you progress forward to keep going, pat yourself on the shoulder, and you feel great about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Jaden, tap in on that. What do you think is, you know, how were you the coach of your journey, now that you're going into the professional world, and like you don't have a clear schedule? I know you talked about being super organized and things like that, but in this world, where things aren't as immediate or public, um, how are you mentally preparing for that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is doing things that make you uncomfortable, whether that's cold calling people on LinkedIn, sending messages, reaching out to people that you've never spoken to before just to gain information about their background, stuff that helps you. I think the biggest thing as I'm stepping into the professional world is, things that make me comfortable, whether that's um, doing panels or whether that's, reaching out to different people, just doing things that are different to you so that you can gain experience.
Okay. And then for the last kind of part of the pivot segment or this kind of subtopic within our talk today, what are your biggest strengths that you've taken from the sport to help you as you're pivoting in your career path?
Networking, building with different even if it's basketball, different player development, different trainers, different GMs, just staying in the game, even if you can't play no more, just staying connected.
Yeah. And Jada?
Yeah, mine is kind of the same. I would say being more vocal. I'm naturally a more reserved person, but being more vocal in a sense of like not always leading by example, but leading by using your voice, networking and talking to new people, using your voice to tell people about your experiences is something that's also extremely important. So obviously networking, as he said, but also just being vocal and using your voice.
Yeah. And I like that, using your voice, because you both are basketball athletes. Me being a director, not a coach, but I see the coaches and they, where I'm yelling at the players too sometimes on the side to say, talk, 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 talk. And I think maybe, with you saying use your voice, I think that in addition to talking on the court, that as coaches, program directors, things like that, we could actually start having it so players are using their voice to really empower them, right?
Mhm.
And I think if we get more empowerment, that's a transferable skill to when they have to make the pivot. But no matter how you slice it, you're going to make a pivot in your career, especially with sports, because the ball doesn't bounce forever. All those things that became cliche phrases are actually true. But using those things, using those strengths, actually can set you apart from others that are competing with you in your industry. So again, dressing the reality of starting over, leveraging the basketball brotherhood, sisterhood community. Um, Many people fall into um, where they're starting from ground zero, or they feel that they're starting from ground zero. But as a former athlete, you have a toolbox most people don't. So while you're navigating your next move in the sports industry, what are the top 3 skills from your time on the court that you are currently pitching to hiring managers?
Yeah, so my first one is definitely being hardworking. I would say my second one is having a team first mentality. Even if you're not the star, being able to contribute to the team success is something that's extremely important that I noticed a lot of people have valued. And then being coachable is something that's also extremely important. Being able to take feedback, but also use it to apply it to what you're taking the feedback for, and then improving yourself while taking the feedback is also something that's really important.
All right. And then, so I'm going to change this question a little bit for you, Taiwan.
So,
Instead of the top 3 skills,
mhm,
many pros fall into the typical genres of like broadcasting or coaching, which is cool. And
mhm.
it's definitely an avenue because it's familiar. And I heard recently that you had an opportunity to act in an upcoming commercial. How are you proactively building a network outside of the arena so you aren't limited to just staying in the gym?
um, just being free, just being open to it all. Basketball, of course, will be for always ever be my favorite. But it's different fields that once again I'm not scared to enter no more. You know what I'm saying? Just by being comfortable with myself and everything. So like broadcasting and everything, that's cool and everything. But if you got a chance, if you're an athlete, basketball player to be exact, to get outside and do something different, just as broadcasting and what I'm saying, coaching, I say shoot for because you'll never know the love you'll find in it. Like that, like actually it was yesterday. Yesterday was my first day really on scene, like shooting, like a whole commercial thing, and it was dope. Like it was a great experience. Like I went in there nervous, came out saying how much I liked it. So yeah, just and then after just networking outside of that. producer was there yesterday. He say, "Hey, if I have a basketball, would you be interested in being in a basketball like movie for me?" And I was like, "I will actually do that, yes." And just because I'm not actually on the court right now, even though I'm still pursuing and I still can get there, it's a different lane where I can still have fun with the game itself by still dribbling the basketball and having fun with it. So it's just I put my mindset is just me having I could pick the basketball up and still have fun with the game, even though if it's not professionally, it's still having fun with it because that's what we do it for to have fun with it. So yeah.
Okay. And so during the networking, this question will be for both of you. Taiwan, you can start it.
Mhm.
Who was the first person you called for advice, for career advice when your jersey came off?
You.
I had a feeling when I made this question, I said I don't want to be in the spotlight because I want to make it
Yeah.
about you all. But
No, and
share that with the audience.
and it's like because I tried, and me, you have a long history, since I first moved down here, and we had long talks, and once the talks they started to make sense, it was like this is a I'm I'm for her, she's for me. We can support each other. This is not just no. It was more of a bond connection, love thing. Like I said, that love when you find that genuine love, it's just like it's nothing wrong. So just reaching out to you and just reaching and once again your husband Uncle Tony, just y'all two together, just turn my whole lifestyle around. Just not with my mind on basketball, but pursue other things and just let the basketball still be there with you. So big shout out to you, to Uncle Tony for that. And yeah, just you the spotlight, huh? You the spotlight, huh? You change
Well, thank
lives.
you. Well, thank you. And I'm glad to be able to be a resource for help. And again,
Thank
that's a
you.
little bit about what Chaos Foundation is rebranded to helping athletes, not just in basketball. We've expanded to helping athletes in football, volleyball, and track because I feel like the messaging and the support and some of the resource and connections again in that network are really the same. And I don't need all the information. So I just want to give it freely to those as it applies and can help. Jaden, who was the first person you called for career advice when the jersey came off?
The very first person was my mom. But besides my mom, was my most recent coach, Candace. I knew I didn't want to go into coaching, and she's a coach, but she also really knows how to leverage and maintain relationships in the sports industry, and that's something that I really wanted to be able to do and learn how to do. So yeah, she was the first person. She helped guide me and show me that there are so many different other avenues beyond coaching. She helped me start talking to people.
All right. So the power of networking. So network itself is one thing. The power of network, in basketball, particularly any sport, provides a unique locker room network. And what I want to do is shift over to how to leverage those relationships after college. So you gave some examples, and making sure you have a network, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper to how we leverage those relationships. Um, and so they say the term is your network is your net worth. And how do you leverage former coaches, teammates, or others for those opportunities? So you mentioned Jaden, Coach Candace Hill, who's phenomenal. Anyone that does not know, she is the head women's basketball coach at UMBC. She is an African American, one of the very few in Division One. Leading the course, and she's very real and personable. So if anyone else knows her, tell her that I was shouting her out on this call. But I respect her a whole lot. And Jaden, so you mentioned her as one of those former coaches that have leveraged your opportunities, or at least helped you get into a space. Um, you know, can you expand on that in terms of the opportunities that you have today?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the most important thing when networking is building genuine relationships. I think a lot of people may think that you only network with people who can help you or guide you. I think once you build a genuine relationship, it's easier to ask for help and guide. Um, and then ultimately, when the relationship is genuine, they kind of know who you are beyond what you're telling them, so they're able to help guide you in a seamless way.
Okay. So you leverage those the coaching relationship, the relationship with your coach, just not as a player and a coach, but just like you bought into some of the things and felt like there was a rapport that you all had built to be able to talk with her later on for opportunities. So Taiwan, like, how do you leverage your former coaches or teammates? I know you're good friends with John Wall. Not to name drop him, but like, how do you leverage those folks for opportunities today?
So my coaches, I just leverage them just by just picking their brains with the game, give me feedback while I'm still playing. Just give me feedback after I'm playing, just in case one day I have to run my own program or I have to help them run their program. What they need from me or what would I need on my own. So that's how I left my coaches with my teammates. Like you said, mentioned John Wall. He's my vet. He teaches me to taught me the game for real, as I would say, but just leverage him by just picking his brain what just out the best because he retired now, so he's broadcasting and doing certain things now. So he was just picking his brain, how he like in broadcasting. You know what I'm saying? If I was to get into it, what would he think my strongest suit would be in it? Just giving me feedback on to certain things. So I would say that, and then like just him pitching certain ideas out to me. That's not basketball. It's kind of weird because it's me and him. We competitors, we play, but just me listening to him, just vent his ideas and me just going through with it and just giving him feedback and us just talking along and just planning it out. Just not even like I said, not even for him, but just for me, just even help, just him even helping me out. So things like that is appreciative always.
Okay. And so as you uh, have those relationships, there's certain key mindsets. And I think that as athletes, you both have grown to like kind of have the team first mentality, right? It's all about the
Hmm.
team.
Hmm.
How do you maintain a team first mentality as you embark upon your professional career outside of basketball? That kind of makes it more individual to you. So to reframe it or just to add a little bit to that, we're at most athletes are our mindset is
Yeah,
team, you
team. Yeah.
know, me over team, right?
Hmm.
Which is what it should be in that sense. But now you have to shift to make things more individualistic. And, so how do you still have that team first mentality, but really convert it to it's about me, simply put?
I would say I just know that whatever I want to do or go on, like I won't be able to do it on my own. Anybody in life period, what I'm saying? You're gonna have to need you not need you're gonna need help. So I would say just knowing your own strength, your own powers, like just knowing you, but also still having that same respect for the next person if it's they feel what you can do, what I'm saying, to help them, which can always come back down to you. Like you help that person reach now is your time, and then that person can pour back into you. Now you go over it. It's just about a team bondship or like it's a partnership. Just I would say just having that mindset that you know you that girl, you that boy or him, but still being respectful to understand this not my field or this not my strong suit. I'm gonna let them take control. And I'm gonna follow and pick up and learn something new, and then go take it to my own thing and just what I'm saying, navigate like that. So that's what I would say.
I like that because while you still have the team mentality, it's individualistic because it's like I'm a lift as I climb,
Hmm.
and that's my personal philosophy and lifting as
Yeah,
I climb. So I don't chase a title or chase a salary, but I'm chasing where can I have the most impact. And so
yeah.
I think you landed that perfectly in terms of like I'm lifting as I climb, and so I still keep that team first mentality.
So, always.
Jaden, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like just like on the court, everyone has their role. And when everyone does their part, the team succeeds. So just making sure that as an individual, you're doing what you need to do. You're doing your part and you're doing it well. Because ultimately, when you do that, then everyone is successful.
And if there are any parents with youth athletes listening in, or any parents, folks taking down notes today from this, what's one thing a student athlete can do starting today to build their network outside of their athletic community?
I would say just use their resources that they have now. So if you're in high school right now, use your high school coach. Use your AAU coaches. You know what I'm saying? Use your parents. Your parents might know more than what they think. That you think they know. So I would say pick their brains, take notes, read, just so you can be stay ahead of the game and you're always clear minded. Just be
Yeah.
prepared so you won't have to, you know what I'm saying? Always be prepared so you won't have to, you know what I'm saying, be prepared when the time comes.
Yeah, and preparation was something I think a lot of top hit a lot of topics today. It's all in preparation. Even this call itself,
Hmm.
this summit itself is all just a point of preparation for those and what they're encountering next. Jaden, what's one thing a student athlete can do starting now to build their professional network outside or inclusive of their athletic department?
I mean, I would say just like Taiwan said, use your network, the network you already have, but also use the people that your parents may know. So if you want to get into finance or psychology, use the people that you know, and leverage their relationships.
Okay. All right, so we're going to shift from the networking and the next, just got some kind of targeted questions here for each of you. We're going to, expand on a little bit about health and financial, just a tidbit. So, Taiwan, I'm going to pivot to you
Yes, ma'am.
for, so for basketball. On the health and longevity side, pro career could take a massive physical toll. And you mentioned, your injury and recovery. How are you thinking about the physical retirement, so to speak? And I use that word because you're so young. There's no retirement. You're gonna be working a little bit longer, but kind of physically retiring and transitioning from like the day to day grunt training, performance, and things like that. To what you're going to be doing in your lifelong health.
That's just because I'm still playing right now, so it's still kind of a
It's
tricky
a little
question,
tough.
but just because I'm not playing right now and I'm saying I'm waiting on my job, it the physical is just you gotta want to stay physically shaped for sure because health is wealth, so you always want to stay on top of that. So I said the transitioning is like I said, it's kind of tricky for me, but yeah, it's just kind of tricky. It's kind of
I
that's a
didn't
tricky
want to
one for
put you
me.
on the spot because
Yeah.
that is something that gives some it takes some thought to. And the reason I bring that up for like our audience because I am not sure where everyone is in terms of their athletic journey, and we have folks that are representing athletes and parents and things like that. But I think it's good to start thinking
Yeah.
about like, okay, the physical toll that it's taken on me now. What are the things that I'm going to do in my physical journey just to stay healthy lifelong? I, I'll give, for example, I work out 3 times a week, and my friends joke and they say, "You're always in the gym, right?" And I'm like, but this is a lifestyle type thing. So this is for my lifelong health. I want to be able to run up the stairs
Yeah.
at 60, 70. I don't want to use the cane, and God forbid if there's something that happens. But, so as athletes, you don't take on a massive wear and tear. Jaden, you mentioned injuries. So, that's just one of the things on that. So I'm going to shift it to Jaden, not on the health and longevity piece, but more so on the resilience approach. So, there's often a gap between like your off season and the first tip off of the game and things like that and how you're preparing um, and all the invisible work that you're doing. Right now, you're in that invisible work phase of your career. And how has your experience as a student athlete helped you stay disciplined and motivated during what's really a waiting game right now between interviews and shadow days, applications, things like that? How has your experience as a student athlete helped you stay disciplined and motivated for that?
So whether it's 6 a.m. workouts or recovering from an injury or um, starting preseason in June when the season doesn't start in October, the work always shows. So I just know that it's going to eventually show for me. I'm making the cold calls. I'm changing my resume. I'm picking people's grades, so I know like I am putting the work in. And being an athlete, I've had proof that the work has shown, so I just trust that it's going to show in this part as well.
I love that. The work always shows. And I tell our young athletes that the work is always going to show. in sports and life as as you prepare. Um, and so, Jada, what is the most surprising thing you've learned about how the sports industry operates behind the scenes that pretty much maybe the fans uh, don't see? Um, what are some of those things that you find kind of behind the scenes, aside from like staying disciplined and motivated, but there's like some behind the scene things that you want to bring to light?
Yeah, definitely didn't realize how many moving parts there were in the sports industry. I think a lot of people see like the coaches, the players, the agents, but there's the marketing teams, there's the student athlete development, there's the trainers. There's so many moving parts that help build the sports industry, which is something that I've realized as I'm trying to pivot into the sports industry and working on it.
Yeah. And you also have firsthand, just with your brother playing in the NBA. Shout out to Jairus. But you get to see like there's so many things, like beyond the scope of just playing the game, but just also you're just staying disciplined and motivated just in the sport. But then there's just a separate discipline and motivation that you have just to manage the business of the industry. And Taiwan talked about that a little bit earlier. And so, Taiwan, that discipline and motivation, I want to shift that over to financial stewardship, right? So you've seen teammates make great moves. You've seen folks make big mistakes. You talked about your veteran in this, and that you get veteran advice. What is the veteran financial advice that you'd give students, families that you wish someone had shouted at you during your rookie year as a professional?
Uh, the veteran advice that I would give, that what they are, all the vets even told me, not even John Wall, but from Bradley Bill to Dwight Howard to the list goes on, Otto Porter, the list goes on, which is always just stay focused and just believe in yourself, no matter how hard it could get. Tough times, if you don't play this game, you don't play this year, just always believe in yourself. And like they said, like, when you put the work in, your work is going to show 100%. So just always believe in yourself and just, what I'm saying, stick to the plan.
Yeah. And so like when you're making those moves and lot of different life lessons learned and things like that, we hear stories of professionals that, make big purchases. They might regret some of the things they do designer wise, jewelry, cars. What was one thing that you may have regretted buying in your rookie career, when the money started rolling in?
I regret buying so many things now. Just because I'm older, and it's like just seeing it now that I still have it is like, what did I get it for? It's just still sitting. So it's like
Yeah.
just spending unnecessary money that you don't have to spend to, what I'm saying, for the social life is it can wait. Whenever the time is needed for it, it will be there for it. Just tuck your
Yeah.
coins when the time comes, make smart investments, and when the time comes, you can be able to splurge out and buy whatever you want to buy. But until the meantime, just hold on.
I love that. And so as we talk about, segue and segueing from financial things, and I do have to bring up the famous acronym of NIL, right? Everything is name, image, and likeness, right? NIL, NIL. And you both graduated in like a pre-NIL era of sports. So anything that you had to really figure out financially, you did, some of that in college, I guess, with just the minimal resources you may have had or stipends. Um, and then Taiwan, for you, as you went in your professional career, like you said, you didn't really have a guide, financially. So, what are your thoughts on NIL opportunities? And I'll start with you, Taiwan, in college in terms of the financial gain, um, for athletes and transfer portal. Like, what are your thoughts around the entire NIL opportunities right now?
I mean, the NIL opportunity I say is big. It's what's been going on for years, and people really pay attention. It's when you think of an overseas kid coming to the United States to play, that's an NIL opportunity. So just for they can have it for the college kids now, it kind of sucks that I missed that wave, but I'm glad they got. I'm glad they can get it now because it's
You would have got
actually.
all those purchases out the way early, and then when you
And
went to
then
the NBA, you wouldn't have needed.
you hear me now, right? So it would have been out the way, but it's a I say it's a blessing in disguise. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because athletes only play sports just for certain reasons, you know, family, mom house, everybody's situated. But I say it's a curse if you don't have that right financial system around you and you get that NIL recognition and it's like you're gonna make them bad purchases early. So it's a great I say it's great, you know, just because of the exposure like they get in there. Like the kids is on commercials now, like Raising Cane's, like car deals, and you know they're building their image early, so that's a positive. And then it's just the transfer portal. Like I said, was something I could have had back then for me too. Like it's a transfer portal just for a kid to have opportunity just to play at a high level if they deserve, they should be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just great. You know what I'm saying? Give a confident to even just to keep going, just keep building and going.
Yeah.
So I like this era of basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the NIL era. Yeah.
Yeah, and the combination between NIL and transfer portal and money's being offered on all sides, making it more of a. It's always been a business, but I think establishing it more firmly that
Yeah.
sports is a business, I feel like is a good preparation. Jaden, what are your thoughts on NIL opportunities in terms of the financial gain and transfer portal?
I too wish I was a part of it, but I think it's a great opportunity. I think it allows for kids to have a lot of awareness in the sports industry, whether that's with brands, whether that's with marketing, and it allows them to have a lot more opportunities just beyond playing basketball, which honestly sets them up for success even beyond the game.
Mhm.
In the transfer portal, I did use the transfer portal, so I think it's a great opportunity. I think that the grass is not always greener. I think it's really important to not only move for money or move just because of location. I think it's important to um, make sure that you're prioritizing what's important to you when you are transferring, whether that's coaching staff, whether that's style of play, making sure that you are prioritizing um, your interests, prioritizing what's important to you, and not just doing it for different reasons.
Yeah. I like that. Like it gives you like have some reason for it. Like you might have an opportunity to do things and transfer, but still think of it as you still have to go out there and play. Like you still have to be happy, no matter the money and things like that, establishing, your why. Is it in alignment with what you're
Mhm.
doing? And I think that's a big thing to address, or if people should have like a more of a focal point on in terms of the NIL opportunities and how it impacts you as an athlete. Um, and so in that current landscape of NIL, what advice, Jaden, would you give to young athletes about protecting their brand, protecting their image while still prioritizing getting a degree and staying on the court?
Yeah, I think ultimately your degree is your foundation. So regardless of how much money you're making, I do think NIL is a great resource. But without a degree, it's hard to leverage it and use it far beyond the game or far beyond the year that you have it. So ultimately just prioritizing your degree because your degree is what can, help you ultimately be successful in the world.
And Taiwan, and same question for you in the current landscape. What advice would you give to young athletes about protecting their brand while still prioritizing the ultimate goal of achieving their degree?
Um, like Jaden said, like the degree is like that's the number one thing. That's why you're in school. It's not, you're not in school for money. You're there to learn, get educated, and to graduate to further your, you know what I'm saying, everything from there on out. So like Jaden said, degree first, and then everything else after. Like I know we as athletes, basketball is we here for basketball. I got to work out, I got to do this, but the ball don't bounce forever, and you go, and that degree will be with you forever, and you could definitely make money with your degree too. So yeah, degree first.
Okay. And so Jaden, as we shift over to, you know, the last part of this NIL discussion, I'm really translating it over to navigating the industry. The sports business is still, very much in the early phase of NIL. I think maybe we're pushing to like mid phase, right? I don't know can't think of the exact year, but I definitely know it's within maybe 3 or 4 years, right? And so the business itself is evolving. And business is evolving even to the professional side. I just saw yesterday on the news there was a NBA G League player that's now allowed to go back to play in college at Alabama University. I don't know the gentleman's name, but I saw that the court ruled for that. So I'm just throwing this into the mix of our conversation with NIL. So I could only imagine what, he may have been offered in terms of leaving the professional side to go back to college. And so, with that said, how do you, or what would be your advice for athletes in staying motivated during these phases of transition? And most importantly, your advice to an athlete, and then also speak about your personal, advice to yourself in terms of your transition to what you're doing for your career. So Jaden,
Yeah,
I'll start with you.
So what keeps me motivated, I think, is like I mentioned, just I know that I'm doing the work. So just I know that I will seek results. And any advice an athlete is, it is definitely an adjustment. So make sure that you have an outlet. I think it's very easy to feel like you're not where you want to be. But I'm also a firm believer that what is for you will always find you. So the rejection is redirection, and using your sources to help guide you through the process is important.
And Tiwian, as we're staying in the game, so to speak, how do you stay motivated during the phase? You have a lot of shifts in terms of professional basketball because, especially playing overseas, there's different gaps at times. But how do you stay motivated during those phases in your professional career?
Just always having my mind wrapped around the ultimate goal. Know where I want to be and what's my goal set to reach. So I just say just knowing that ultimate goal, knowing what you put your work to every day, knowing the plan, and just sticking to your script and sticking to everything that your ground with you where you want to go with it. I would say so. Just never I would say just knowing the ultimate goal. And like I said, I know mine. You're supposed to know you're gonna know yours. Just reach for it and just don't stop. That's what keep me going.
Like that. Reach for it and don't stop. All right. So I have drilled you guys on some questions, but I did want to make sure that these things were engaging. And the last segment is kind of fun that I like to do in panels. So this is going to be a rapid fire. All right. So the rules is rapid fire is you got 15 seconds or less. All right. And so I'm going to start with Jaden. The power skill. What is the number one transferable skill you learned on the court that you use every single day? What's that power skill?
Let's say time management.
Gotcha.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
No, you froze time management. Yep, you froze just a second. Okay, so time management. Tiwian, what's the power skill, the transferable skill?
Time management too.
Time management?
Yeah, time
all
management.
Right. Time management. So you got it. So, all right. The second rapid fire question. The first step, what is the first app, website you check in the morning to stay informed? This is totally off grid of our topic, but just what as professionals on different sides of the game, what's the first app or website or first thing you check in the morning to stay informed?
That's why I was like, as far as the game or just stay informed?
Just do you pick up your phone? What's the first thing you look at? Do you
Okay, so the first my first app I would say is my Quran app because I got to make prayer in the morning. So that's the first app I open.
Okay, I love that. Jaden, what's the first app or website you? And we know you don't have Instagram, so you're primarily on LinkedIn. But what's your first app or website you check in the morning to stay informed?
I'm gonna say Gmail. I'm waiting for that offer, so I'm gonna definitely say Gmail.
That's right. Stay on top of those emails, and that's a great thing. I know for me in the corporate world, the first thing I pull up is my Outlook because I deal globally with, I could be working with a partner in China or Nigeria. And so our time zones are different. So the very first thing, I don't get on social media, I pull up Outlook because I was like, I might have an email that was 2 a.m. my time when I was in my REM sleep. And I have to check that in the morning when I get it. So that's the first thing. But I think to be more like Taiwan, I probably need to pick up something spiritual first. So I'm going to take that for 2026. All right.
Okay.
No, me too.
Next
Me too.
next rapid fire question. Locker room mantra. What's one phrase a coach used to yell at you that actually makes total sense in real world today?
Okay, I know you always hear the talent beats hard work. When nah, my coach used to tell me all the time, you won't be as good as you. He said, you only be as good as you allow yourself to take yourself. And I was like, I didn't
That's
get it.
that's a
I
yeah.
didn't get it. I didn't get it at first until I got older, and I'm like, oh, coach, I see what you meant. He's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
like you versus you.
you versus
Jaden.
you always.
Jaden, what's one phrase a coach used to yell at you or tell you that that actually makes total sense in today's real world?
I would say next play mentality. I feel like that's a pretty generic one, but it definitely applies to today now,
Well,
especially with
next
offers and rejections and the process.
next play. I love that. And I love that for you too, because next play is like you said, yeah, you only need one yes. It's just like college scholarship offers, right? I
Mm-hmm.
know we have, I have kids in my program and thankfully so we have kids that pick up 20, 30 offers. And we only could take one. You can only take one. So yeah, the next the mindset of the next thing. All right, two more rapid fires, and then we'll open up the floor for questions. So, in one word, what do you want your legacy to be outside of basketball? Taiwan, go.
Come back.
Jada, one word. Do you want your
Uh,
legacy to be outside of basketball?
I'm gonna say impact.
Impact. Okay. All right, it's back on you, Taiwan.
yeah, that's kind of. I don't think Ray gets to that because it's kind of still basketball. Uh,
Okay, what do you want your legacy? Well, I'll reframe it for you, just for you. Legacy for
okay,
basketball. When they say Taiwan Kendley, what's the one word you want your legacy to be?
tenacious.
Tenacious. All right. Very last thing, rapid fire. What's one book or podcast that changed your mindset about success that you can share with the audience? Jaden, I'll start with you. Any books or podcasts or readings that really changed your mindset recently?
Mine was Success Habits by Napoleon Hill.
What was the author on that one again? The author, Jaden? Oh, I think you froze a little bit.
Napoleon Hill.
Okay. We'll have to put that in the chat. And Taiwan, book, podcast, anything that's changed your mindset about success?
Just the Quran and the Superior Way of a Man. I forgot the name of the author, but that is yeah, changed my mindset.
Okay.
Superior.
All right. Well, thank you for taking part of this um, rapid fire portion. It kind of keeps everyone on their toes in the era of AI that we're in. We could look up something real quick. We can ask Chat GPT to give us answers, but I think rapid fire keeps us on our toes, keeps our brains moving. And I think it's also good. I hope the audience enjoyed that part. So, Jamil, at this time, I'll definitely conclude and open it up for the next few minutes. Any questions that people may have from today's discussion. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Well, I have a question for Gina.
Sure.
So how did you get started? Like, are you an athlete or like, how did you start? How did this become your lane?
Oh, great question. So I am a former athlete. I tell people all the time I didn't just birth an athlete or, raise athletes and do so. I actually played basketball, track, was in competitive cheerleading. Basketball became like my love and my passion. So as I was a multi-sport kid, I focused in on that. Played it through high school. Had my first scholarship offer through Johnson C. Smith University. But instead, it wasn't as appealing to me to play. I'm not gonna say my age, but back then it wasn't as appealing. I felt to have to manage sports and academics, and I really, my goal was like the academic route. So I received an academic grant through to Canisius College in upstate New York to pursue my my academic career. And so, as a parent, I saw different things. Just fast forwarding, as a parent, I saw different things in sports and just sports management on the grassroots level, youth level. Also saw that there was a need for people to just genuinely care and without motives. And I think that's some of the things that we were rooted in. So that had my mindset into it. Also, my husband is a coach. And so he was coaching. He had coached a lot prior. He even played a little bit overseas in Puerto Rico. And here in Laurel, Maryland, there was a rec center. And he just went up and volunteered and was coaching at a rec center. And then these kids were like, we should play AAU. We were like, they were pretty good. They were beating the other rec league teams at the time. And so I said, I think I want to do an AU team. And we started Team Chaos at the time. And so the rest was history from that. We went from 2 to 5 teams in 1 year. We went from 5 to 11 teams in 3 years. Tiwian played on one of those teams. And that was on the boys basketball side. So we were learning and navigating through that space. And that's what got me started with it. My daughter also, she's a college coach at Coppin State right now. And she went through the collegiate experience, grassroots to collegiate, received a full scholarship and played a little bit overseas. And what I learned during her grassroots side on the girls' side, it was like, they're out here playing basketball, but who's kind of creating the experience that's positive for these young ladies? And I felt that it's in particular with youth, especially our young women, I'm a big advocate on female empowerment, that there just weren't things, it's like there's a lot of time built into basketball, right? But what can we do while we have some time with basketball? And so fast forward to 2019, I started coaching or directing a girls basketball program, started it from the ground up, DC Premier, with an Under Armour sponsorship. And I really wanted to be a great experience for young ladies, not just, we're going to help you get to college, but while we're doing this, what else can we help you with? And I met young ladies that, want to start their own clothing brand. And we started talking about business things. And each year I do this annual team retreat and I bring in guest speakers and celebrities and, just whomever the community change makers are, because it started setting that foundation early of having the athletes think about more than the game, right? To tie our topic in there, it's just thinking about more than the game. And for me, that's my passion. But also being a coach's wife, I kind of got pulled into many different facets of helping out wherever we could, just rolling the sleeves up and helping kids in the community. And it's just a blessing to be a part of that ministry. So that's how I got started. I probably gave a dissertation on that, but just for the detail, that's how I got started.
It was great.
Thank you. So, yeah. Any other questions? Well, I will also say for those listening, www.ourchaosfoundation.org, our, which is AOUR, chaos, CHOS, foundation.org is our website. It kind of peels back a little bit of the layers of what we're helping out basketball-wise. Team Thrill, girls basketball program is actually a full basketball program, girls and boys, is here in the Maryland area. So if you're in the DMV, check us out. And I can be reached on Instagram, Miss Gina, that's MSGINA_W. And I'm also on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, you'll find me as Regina Wilson. That's my full name. So I'm willing to connect if anybody has any questions or, you know, say, hey, I think that I can reach out to her and get some insight or some help, or if you want to offer some help to me, because I think it's a mutual thing. You say, I think I can help you with your grassroots. I can help you get, we're looking for some sponsorships and funding to not only help kids that I work with on Team Thrill, but I'm also looking to help kids just in the DMV in general with the financial disparity that we have in grassroots sports. So yeah, I can be reached on those platforms. I'll plug that in at the end and look forward to if anyone wants to reach out.